Can't even smile that much. Got a crack in the middle of my lip. It's like this dead ass. Like, let me see. Holy shit! It's literally 2:37. I thought about an interesting story time. I used to be part of the Incel community. I used to have Reddit. I used to have Reddit. Just like all of the Incel stuff, right? Like, I'm talking about red pill, homophobic, right? And it's funny coming from a nigga that like his nails have like a butterfly nose piercing. But I genuinely used to be on that type of time, man, right? It was because of a multitude of reasons, but I was a kid, right? Because kids are going to do that. Kids are going to be dickheads, right? There's probably one of your best white homeboys probably said nigga back in the day because he thought that shit was funny. Because he was surrounded by his other white friends that was more serious about that. He might have accidentally said it. But you know him now, he'd never do nothing like that. I'm not saying I experienced it. I'm just saying, right? It took me years to break out of that. And even then, it took me more years to not do that. So I'm 20, right? I'm gonna be complete, like, this is gonna be full transparency. It started in middle school, right? I would say from like, let me think, like 13, you know, you being all like edgy and shit. I was a very edgy kid. You can ask, like, I had a stepmom, right? Back when I didn't used to live with my mom. A little bit of a rocky relationship. I was definitely a lot of the issue. I used to talk back like crazy amount, not like respond back. But for instance, there would be this thing where it would, like, imagine there was a ketchup bottle, right? And I'm using this exact example that was used back in the day. There's a ketchup bottle and I couldn't find it. She would be like, it was right here. How did you not find it? Right? And mind you, beforehand, I would come up to her and ask her, hey, where is such and such? And she'd tell me to go look. So after I come back, can't find it, and then I tell her I can't find it, and then she goes and finds it, and God knows where, she'd be like, why didn't you find it? And I would be a smart ass and be like, the whole point of a question is because I don't know and I'm seeking to know. So by me asking you that question, that means I did not know. And then I get popped, you know. And I'm not getting my shit rocked. I'm not getting my shit fucking Mike Tyson, but I'm definitely getting my shit like a little, like a little love tap maybe. Not like anything crazy. Whoa. Nothing too crazy, but just like you if you have black parents, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But anyways, I was a very edgy kid. You know, like I said, very disrespectful, very, you know what I'm saying, whatever. And obviously you're going to find, when you're in that mindset, you're not going to have a lot of friends. So what you're going to do is you're going to seek friends through other means, but like online, or even if you do find friends, they're not going to be the most typical normal of people, right? I had like one normal friend, kind of, but he was definitely more on the normal side. And I was just, you know, like I said, middle school. If I say some crazy shit that's like a super fucking red flag, they're just seeing it as, oh, he's just being edgy, he's just being a weirdo kid, right? Like, we all understood that we were just kids, but we would kind of like abuse it in a sense where we would allow ourselves to make like weird, crazy ass jokes that were never cool. And so, you know, I would join Discords, Reddits, with just people that kind of spread that belief. And what one of the people told me, it was this one dude to watch. I forgot who he was. I swear to you, if I could, I would find it. And I immediately got sucked into a rabbit hole of red pill degeneracy. But back then, they didn't call it like back then, like, red pill wasn't necessarily a bad thing. The reason why it's called red pill is because that Neo thing where, like, the blue pill is you get to live in the false world, just be happy, blah, blah, blah. And the red pill, you get to live in the real world, and da da da. And the reason, you know, it's called red pill, just in case you guys didn't know, is because it's supposed to be like, oh, you're in the real world, or like the man's world, whatever, that type of shit. I used to genuinely think that at my 5'1", I was 5'3", 210 pounds. I was a fat ass kid. Good God. Like right now, I'm gonna stand up. I'm not like the most fat. I'm 180 something. Whoa. Gonna blur that out. Immediately saw my drawers. But anyways, it lasted from 13 all the way to like 15, heading on to 16. I got to change the scenery. You know, I moved to Minnesota. I like Minnesota. It doesn't cost a lot to live here, right? If you're from Minnesota, you know how expensive this shit is. It genuinely costs a lot to live in Minnesota. But other than that, it's a lovely place. I actually really fuck with Minnesota way more than Ohio. And the reason why it's so easy to get sucked into these rabbit holes is because it starts from being lonely. Like, and this is just my experience, but I've seen it a lot in other young men. It starts with being lonely. You crave woman validation so much and the validation of others. But I would say, like, maybe it's like interchangeable. But for me, it started with the lack of woman validation that I was getting. So I just assumed that nothing was wrong with me and it's actually something wrong with y'all. And I just kind of lived like that. And I became a very pathetic person, right? And where I was spitting out these homophobic beliefs, these misogynistic beliefs, you know. And the fucked up part is I had a gay friend, a trans friend. They considered me a best friend, but I was still going around saying this crazy ass shit, you know, and they couldn't do nothing. And it was fucked up. It was really fucked up. It's supposed to be a joking video. It is a joking video, but like, it's not. It's not. They fall, kids, when I say the kids, they fall into this rabbit hole, obviously, like I said, because of loneliness. It feels almost empowering and almost inspirational in a sense. I lost weight because of those videos. If you don't got a fucking 6-pack, you know, you're ain't shit. You ain't shit. You're not gonna get a job. You're not gonna have 3 wives, and you ain't get no fucking money. All niggas would have is get money, apparently. And I just instantly believe that. I'm gonna keep saying but like I just instantly believe. I was like, oh, for real, yeah. And like I said, I'm not gonna flex on you lame niggas, right? But I'm not like an inherently skinny guy. I'm kind of working on it. Don't look at the forearms. The forearms are terrible. It took for me to change, right? The most genuinely forgiving person I've ever met in my life, right? And she's still my girlfriend. Very happy relationship. Hi, just in case she got this far and she's a fake ass dude that don't want to watch my videos. But hi, just in case you got this far. Hi. Anyways, it took my girlfriend to forgive me countless times and literally talk me through it. You know that pick me girl stereotype where they got the fucked up ass boyfriend that says crazy shit that literally goes against their beliefs? They'll be like, you know, I'm super left, I'm super cool, you know, I'm super cool with the, you know what I'm saying, gays, lesbians, the trans community, all that, and their boyfriend is like the most mega dork ever. And they're just like, oh, he's just like that, he's just whatever, right? She took that and did the exact opposite. She said, if you're gonna believe this and you're gonna be with me, that's just not gonna be the case. You gotta work on yourself. And she literally forced me to work on myself. And my life got better. I started meeting better people. Not even just part of LGBTQ. It's just like I just started to have more confidence. But a lot of people don't have this luxury and they grow up to be dorks. I'm gonna shit on this guy one more time. Probably one of many, maybe one of the last, maybe. Surely not. That's how you get into an Asmongold fan. You know, you read rhetoric from a dork as a dork. It takes certain life experiences that a lot of people are just not gonna have. Because look, I was a loser, but I was a very like social loser. If that makes sense. Like I was social enough to not be like super enclosed to the point where I couldn't change, if that makes sense. A lot of people, the worst combination you could have is be red pill, and stuck indoors. You're fried. You can't do shit. You genuinely are gonna be stuck the way you are. That was really kind of it. I don't know if that felt like a nothing burger. I'm working on it. I just kind of wanted to show people that like you can be a different person no matter where you are. You can be a different person. You just have to make that step to just be out there more, and then certain events are gonna happen, like chain events, where you're gonna stop being like that. I truly believe if you go outside enough, you're not gonna be like that. You're not gonna be like that. Like I've seen 2 girlfriends walk outside the street and I felt no malice. That's how I know I'm headed in the right direction. I felt no discomfort, nothing. That's how you know you are in the right direction. Genuinely. If you see people just being people, you are in the right direction. That is about it. My lips still hurts.